Do you think that the Dominican government should have diplomatic relations with its neighbor Cuba? And if so, how far or how full should those relations be?
Él considera que los Estados Unidos deben tener relaciones con Rusia.
Do you feel that the United States should have relations with Cuba, with Russia?
Well, we do.
Entonces, prefiero no contestar la pregunta.
Then the general would rather not answer the question.
What, if any, mistakes do you think that your father made when he headed the government?
Creo que como todos los humanos, cometió algunos errores, pero no tan grande como algunos errores que ha cometido el gobierno de los Estados Unidos en los últimos años.
The general feels that, like all humans, his father made some mistakes, but not as great as some that have been made in recent years by the United States government.
Well, the general refers to the United States government specifically. What mistakes does he think that the United States government has made?
Algunos en América Latina.
Some in Latin America.
Especialmente.
Especially.
No es necesario comentarles cuáles.
It's needless to comment which they are.
Mrs. Leader?
After carrying the country through its present crisis, what plans do you have for yourself?
Hasta después de las elecciones no podré hacer ningún plan definitivo.
The general can make no definite plans until after the election.
What reforms have been instituted in your military intelligence agency, SIM?
Se han hecho bastantes reformas técnicas y se piensan hacer más reformas. O sea, tecnificar más los servicios para que puedan rendir una labor más eficiente.
Considerable reform has been accomplished, and more technical reforms are planned so as to develop a higher type of technical work on the part of this service.
How do you plan to maintain the balance between a true liberalization of your security service and the prevention of communism and other threats to the government?
Tendremos que hacerlo, mantener el orden y la libertad dentro del orden necesario para mantener la prosperidad del país.
We will have to do it. Maintain, preserve order, and preserve freedom within order, so as to ensure the prosperity of the country, which is essential.
Esta mañana recibí a miembros de la oposición del Partido Revolucionario y les expresé esto mismo, y ellos parecen estar de acuerdo que la libertad debe ser ejercida manteniendo el orden en el país.
This morning, General Trujillo received members of the Dominican Revolutionary Party and expressed to them the same ideas that he has just stated. And they seem to agree that liberty, freedom should be exercised within the bounds of order, the preservation of peace and order.
Are the present economic sanctions imposed by the OAS contributing to the turmoil inside the Dominican Republic?
Aunque las sanciones afectan el buen desenvolvimiento comercial del país, indudablemente, no creo que eso tenga relación con las recientes turbas que incendiaron Radio Caribe y cometieron un sinnúmero de atropellos en las calles de Ciudad Trujillo.
Although sanctions do affect the adequate development of commercial life in the Republic, the General does not feel that they had anything to do with those outbreaks of violence on the part of those mobs that burned Radio Caribe and committed other acts of violence in the streets in the last few days.
Well, would the removal of the sanctions contribute anything to this present situation in the country?
Indudablemente que mejorarían el aspecto económico y comercial del país, el cual actualmente afecta inclusive a la población civil y los trabajadores, porque han tenido que hacerse restricciones en cuanto a obras públicas para asumir una actitud conservadora en cuanto a la economía.
Restoring, that is, the suspension of the sanctions would doubtless help restore the normal development of commercial life in the country. And it would have general repercussion on conditions because those sanctions affect the people generally, including the labor classes, particularly because restrictions have had to be imposed on public works, limitations of public works, in order to keep government expenses within reasonable conservative boundaries.
General, what do you believe the government of the United States could do to help you in your problem?
Lo mismo que podría hacer con todos los países latinoamericanos. Y me parece que eso es mejor que lo tratasen por organismos internacionales.
The same that they could do for other Latin American countries. And General Trujillo feels that that subject might be better discussed with international organizations.
General Trujillo, thank you very much. Muchas gracias.